Hey everybody, good afternoon. Today is going to be another session of MoveWellRX. If you're new to this, just pick up and do where you can go to. If there's movements that you're not comfortable with, try to find positions or movements that are not hurting you. Remember, we want to keep our pain level relatively low. We do not want to get into sharp stabbing pain. So stretching, pulling, you might feel some of that. That is absolutely normal. So at any point where you feel like you can't get into the next movement, just stay in the movement that you are comfortable with, okay? A lot of these progressions are things that you'll have to work towards over the next few weeks and months. Remember, movement was not built in one day. To have longevity in movement and be able to get up off the floor and pick your grandchildren up, you want to have good movement quality. So that's what we're going to be working on today. Okay. So what we're going to do first is just find a nice comfortable place to sit or lay down, and we're just going to bring our attention back into our bodies, and we're just going to do some breathing. So I want you to think about breathing in through your nose, taking that air all the way down into your belly, down to your pelvic floor and your crotch area. And then as you're exhaling, you're going to bring it all up out through the crown of your head as you exhale. So we're going to inhale in through the nose, out through the belly, push all the way down into your pelvic floor area. And then exhale. Big inhale through the belly. And then exhale. Inhale. Exhale. What you're noticing right now is, if there any place where you're feeling some tension, anything that's hung up, any place where you're feeling the movement not moving too well, okay, those are going to be areas that you're probably going to want to focus on. So the next few breaths I want you to do, I want you to think about getting your torso as upright as possible and making sure you're sitting on your sits bones. If you don't know where your sits bones are, they're those bones right underneath your butt. So make sure you're sitting directly on top of them. Notice if you have more pressure on the right side versus the left side. And then you're going to have an upright posture. So as you take your breath in, think about being pulled up to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, slight retreat. Okay, take an inhale in. And then an exhale. Inhale in. And then exhale. And just take a minute to kind of center yourself. Get rid of any distractions. Get rid of anything that you're thinking about today. The things that you need to do on your to-do list, those will be later on after this. Right now we're focusing on our breath, and we are going to focus on where do our body and joints want to go versus where they don't want to go. So a lot of this is going to be just information for you. So when you further move into your movement practice, you're already going to have an idea of what's moving well and what's not moving well, okay? So what we're going to do first is work on something called Shin Box. I know a lot of you have done these before. If you've worked with me, you've gone through Shin Box, okay? So one leg's going to be out in front of you at 90 degrees. Other one's going to be out to the side at 90 degrees, okay? And what we're looking for right now, we're just going to breathe in this position. So we're going to do the same breath in, lengthening up to the ceiling, and then exhale. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Take a breath in. And then take a breath out. And you're noticing where your body wants to move, where it doesn't move. Sometimes people feel like they need to be sitting over in this position. See with a couple of deep settling breaths if you can kind of get your body a little more upright, okay? Take a breath in, elongate the spine, and then we're going to exhale. Take a breath in. And then exhale. Good. We're going to switch sides. Sometimes people have one side better than the other. Take mental note of that, okay? Same thing, we're going to take a breath in. Make sure we're still filling up our belly and our outer ribs, and then exhale. Take a breath in. Exhale. Take a breath in. Head being drawn up to the ceiling, and then exhale. We're going to do about 3 to 5 in each position, okay? Again, notice what feels tight. Notice where your sits bones are. Notice if you need to sit like this, or if you can work into sitting a little more upright. Then we're going to rotate back to the other side. So hopefully you're a little more loosened up now. From there, we're just going to reach and then come back in. Rotate slightly and reach like you're handing somebody something. Okay. Reach a little bit further. And one more time. Switch sides. We're going to reach. Big inhale, then exhale. Reach out again, take an inhale. Reach again. Again, noticing what your inhale is doing and exhale is doing on each position you get into. Notice if you can fill all 4 parts of your quadrant when you get to either side. Take a breath in. Rotate back to the other side. The knee that is out now, we are simply just going to reach forward onto the ground. We're not going to go all the way down yet. Just come forward, get a little stretch in that right glute. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. With your shoulder blades, I want you not to let your shoulder blades just sink, so I want you to think about kind of pushing yourself away from the floor. Taking a big breath in through your belly. And then exhale. One more time. Switch to the other side. Pushing down into the floor so we're not sinking. Taking a big breath in, filling our bellies and ribs. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Take a breath in. And then out. Rotate back to the other side. This time we're going to fold all the way forward as far as you can tolerate. So it's somewhat of a semi-pigeon. And we're just going to take a big breath in and then out. Another breath in and then out. Drop a little lower if you want. Make sure as you're breathing, you're filling in every nook and cranny from the bottom of your pelvic floor up into the louder part of your ribs. Take a breath in and then out. Switch sides. We're going to just reassess up right here in our shin box position and see if anything changed with what we just did. Switch sides. See if you're a little more upright. See if you have more flexibility in your hips. Then we're going to be more upright in shin box. So I'm just sitting back on my sacrum or my butt bone. And we're just going to rotate back and forth, allowing our hips to roll. I have active shoulders, so I'm not sinking down. I'm actually pushing away from the floor. Trying to get my knees down as I can. Seeing where I'm tight. It's in your hip flexors, your glutes, low back of your spine. Make sure you're still breathing. Come back into shin box again. Take a breath in, big full breath, pelvic floor all the way up and down the ribs. Expand through the top of the head. And then exhale. One more on the other side. Big breath in through the belly, out to the ribs. Expand up to the ceiling. Good. From there, we're just going to roll over onto all fours. This is our quadruped position, okay? Hands flat on the floor, fingertips facing forward. We're just going to rock forward, rock back, forward, and then back. Forward onto those tight wrists, and then back, forward, and then back. Take your fingertips out to the side, and we're going to go side to side. Again, just try to keep your breathing nice and smooth. Hopefully you're not holding your breath. Turn your fingertips towards your knees, and you're going to rock forwards and then backwards. Fingertips forwards. We're going to take the eye of our elbow and rotate it in and then rotate it out so it's facing the front of the computer screen. And then in and then out. So the motion should be coming right from your shoulder joints. Now we're going to get our toes involved a little bit. So while we're still in that quadruped position, we're going to try to get our toes underneath of us, okay? And we're just going to simply rock back, again, wherever you're comfortable. Getting a little more bend in those toes. If you feel like most of your pressure is in the big toes, see if you can get the little toes out. Let me show you here. So if you're more on your big toes, see if you can get some of that pressure going out into the outer part of your toes, your fourth and your fifth. And you can work your way up into each toe if you want. You do the fourth toe, third toe, second toe, first toe. If you find a place that's stuck or tight, just kind of take a deep breath and let it sit down in there. Once you're in there, then take a big breath in and then out. Then we're going to put our feet flat on the ground and we're just going to rock back. We're going to see if we can get our butt back to our heels. Okay. If that's too hard, you can just sit back in the quadruped and do the same thing. Again, you can play with foot position. You can have feet, toes forward, feet more out towards the fourth and the fifth toes. You can play around with where are you feeling hung up. Okay. Once you've gotten in your position, we're just going to sit there, get kind of comfy. If you want to take your feet, kind of move them out to the side like what I'm doing, so you can sit a little bit deeper. From this position now, all we're going to do is lean back just slightly. Feel the stretch in the front of your thighs and your hip flexors. And then we're going to squeeze our butt to come up. And then go back. Nice stretch in your hip flexors. Squeeze your butt to come up. Okay. Squeeze your butt to come up. As we go back, we want to think going nice and slow down through our thighs so we're not just plopping. And squeeze our butt. Back into quadruped. I'm going to show you in this position. We're going to try to get on our toes now. Okay, so I'm literally on the balls of my feet. If this is uncomfortable for you, then just stay at the progression that was comfortable prior to this. Okay, so there's a couple different things we can do in this position. One is we can actually go back on our heels and then up on our toes, kind of like we're doing calf raises, but on our toes. And again, if you need props beside you, you can always grab onto something. So if you're at home, maybe a sofa, coffee table. If you have yoga blocks, you can put yoga blocks on each side of you if you can't reach the floor. So we're doing up and down on our toes, and then we can just spin slightly on the balls of the feet. Again, noticing if you're holding your breath, what feels comfortable, what doesn't feel comfortable. Okay. From there, we're going to just kind of rock back into our child squat position. So I'm going back on my heels, up on my balls, on my toes, back on my heels. And then we can bring our knees up, knees down, knees back up into that child squat position, knees down. Again, you can always make this easier by putting more of your body weight up through your arms so it's less on your knees and your hips. Good. From there, we're just going to go in cat-cow. I'm going to keep my toes underneath of me because that's more comfortable for me. So I'm going to have you guys take a big breath in and you're going to arch. Then you're going to exhale. Take a big breath in. And then exhale. Take a big breath in. And then exhale. So as you're doing this, I want you to think about kind of moving each individual vertebrae as you're arching up from your sacrum all the way up to the back of your head. And then the same thing when you exhale and reverse. Okay, so it's kind of like a flag flapping in the wind or like a whip. Okay, it shouldn't be very rigid. It should be very kind of flowy and rhythmical. Okay, that's what we're looking for. And it should be in sync with your breathing. Okay, so we're going to inhale, stretch out everything, stretch out, open up our ribs, push away the floor. We're opening up our shoulder blades. And then exhale, kind of let everything collapse. Okay, take an inhale in, and then exhale out. Very good, guys. Good job. And let's see, next week we will kind of pick up from where we left off. All right. If you have any issues, problems, or questions, feel free to message me. All right.